incredible fan base.
We're going to put a seatbelt on you to keep you in the booth.
Breaks a tackle at the 10, angles in, touchdown, and he has dominated this opener tonight.
Pod 230. Here we go. Podcast 230. Wasn't sure I'd be talking to you today, buddy.
I was hoping you weren't going to be.
I know.
Because that means
I don't take it personally.
You would have been in Portland. But, you know, what does Boo always say? Knees bent, expect the unexpected.
They were bent. I was packed. They were bent. I was ready. I was hoping for a red eye.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. A disappointing ball game. Close ball game.
Yeah.
Been too many of those. We've had conversations about those all year.
Yeah.
Disappointing and close. Kansas, Miami, Notre Dame, Stanford, Texas. Right? Too many of them. And I think in the end, a season that you got in the dance, right? Not how you wanted to and not where you wanted to, but you're in Dayton. You didn't want to be in Dayton, but you put yourself in a position.
Correct.
With one win before the ACC tournament after February 7th, where that was possibility. You know, I didn't fall off my chair when they put us in Dayton. I didn't predict it. I thought we'd be a 10 seed or 10 seed in some far off land in the field proper. But,
yeah. Because really nobody leading up to it had NC State and Dayton pretty much. If you look at some of the mocks or whatever, they pretty much consistently over the last couple of weeks had them as a 10. Last 4 in, which means you don't have to play in Dayton. But, you know, I think when Coach Wade said they had about a 30% chance of possibly going to Dayton, well, they nailed that 30%. And, you know, the disappointing is the word that Coach Wade used in his press conference after the game. It's a disappointing end to a disappointing season.
Yeah, I mean, you know, disappointing end to a pretty disappointing season for us, the way I look at it. And we hadn't been very good in close games. We hadn't earned the right to win close games, and our season ended very similarly to the reason we're sitting in Dayton. And so, you know, you are who you are in pressure moments, and we tried to mask some stuff, and we couldn't do it. And so that's why we're here, and that's why we're heading home.
It's hard to label when you go to the NCAA tournament a disappointment, but I think from where they started to where they finished, that's the disappointing part. And there were parts in that game in Dayton against Texas that it's pretty much a microcosm of the year. You see flashes of brilliance. You see, oh my goodness, they're going to come back and win this thing. And then you see some of the frustrating things that they had to deal with defensively, matchups throughout the season. And it just, to me, surmised what the season had been like all in one game, a game that eliminated NC State.
Tremont Mark hit a couple of really big shots.
He did.
Former teammate of Terrence Arsenault at Houston.
To me, one of the quotes from Coach Wade after the game, after the press conference after the game, he said, "This will be the worst team we have at NC State right here. You just watched it. This is the floor of our program, and we will be much better moving forward."
The only part about that comment that I think makes me sentimental, if I may, is I don't want to be on this podcast 230, and dismiss the efforts of Van Allen Lubin and Quadir Copeland and, you know, Darian Williams. In some ways, look, he didn't have the year that he wanted in that he was preseason ACC Player of the Year, and he didn't end up being, you know, ACC Player of the Year. So he was ahead of Cam Boozer, he was ahead of Caleb Wilson, he was ahead of all these things preseason. He was NC State's leading scorer. He was, if he had shot it more, I believe in the end, the 5th most accurate three-point shooter in the ACC. He was one of the top assist to turnover men in the ACC. Like, there were a lot of things that were right about Darian this year, and then there were things that didn't go the way he wanted. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
So
whether they're paid or unpaid, the end of your college career is the end of your college career.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of guys on that court that played their last college game.
Yeah.
May have played their last basketball game
Possibly.
of their career.
Sure.
So, you know, you're going 1,000 miles an hour, you included, on the plane, here in the hotel, moving, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's done. And I know it's disappointing for fans because they're vested into it, but nothing like the players and the coaches and the staff that go 24/7, and they are physically invested into what they're doing.
And I love the fan perspective too. I think that's part of what makes this great.
Absolutely.
And without it, this isn't what it is, right? And I don't say that in conflict with any of that.
No.
It's just
You should be disappointed.
Yeah. It's great.
You should hate to have to go to work and face your buddy sitting across the desk who's pulling for another team,
right.
and they're still playing and you're not.
Right. They're worried about the VCU Rams. And,
That's exactly right.
Or Sienna, whatever it might be. Talking about humanizing these kids, I'm really touched by the video you put together for softball with Kayla Fekel. I want to hear the background and the context of it, but I just watched it. I had the pleasure of watching it. Kind of made me tear up a little bit.
I can't watch it without it.
It's hard not to.
She was so brutally honest, and her emotions came through in that story. And I think it drives home the point. We hear about an athlete being injured, and then we hear about they're back. Well, we don't see what's in the middle of that, from the time they're injured to the time they come back. There are lonely moments. There are moments of doubt. There are questions. There's physical pain. There's mental pain, all of that. And she shared that so wonderfully and didn't mind sharing her emotions and showing her emotions, again, recalling that day when she hurt her ACL, the second ACL that she had injured, first in high school, then at NC State.
Pulse of the Pack is sponsored in part by Coca-Cola. Fan work is thirsty work, so enjoy a Coca-Cola.
I stand alone with fire inside, with passion burning in my veins.
It's Truck Month with the Ford Crew. Final days.
Final day, Sam. People need to know time is running out for Truck Month deals.
Truck Month deals.
And America needs Ford F-Series with available Pro Power on board.
Oh, you guys are fast.
The final days of Truck Month.
And there's no time to waste.
Looks so good. You guys go ahead. I'll catch up.
Hurry. It's the final days to get 0 for 60 with 0 down, 0 payments for up to 90 days, plus 1,000 Truck Month cash on select Ford trucks.
Your animals depend on you every day. So we build equipment you can depend on every day. Equipment that powers through mud, dust, and extreme weather. So cutting hay, feeding livestock, and managing land is easier. Loaded with intuitive, innovative features and tech, Case IH equipment isn't just built to work. It's built to work for livestock producers. Case IH, built by farmers.
Mr. Wolf, you're all set. Complete perimeter protection installed and monitored 24/7.
No matter who you root for, we can all identify with the best in smart home security. CPI Security is the official security and smart home company of NC State Athletics. CPI Security. Identify yourself.
From protecting your teeth and gums, to restoring your smile, to sponsoring your local team, Tar Heel Periodontics is the premier periodontal practice of the Triangle community. Our team of highly skilled doctors provide dental care as individual as you are, working with you to build a personalized treatment plan to create the beautiful, healthy smile of your dreams. With offices conveniently located across the Triangle and Central North Carolina, you're never far from the Tar Heel Periodontics family. Visit our website or call now.
I stand alone with fire inside, with passion burning in my veins.
This segment of Pulse of the Pack is presented by Coca-Cola.
How old were you when you started playing softball?
My first memory of me playing softball, I would say I was either 5 or 6. Yeah, I started pretty young, but it was called like T-ball back then.
There were other sports that Kayla Fekel enjoyed, but softball became her passion. As a high school pitcher in Northern Virginia, Fekel pitched a perfect game in the playoffs and won a state title her junior year. But success on the field was interrupted by a torn right ACL before her final season.
Here we go. That's it.
Those arms straight.
She attacked rehab and recovery with a determination that allowed her to come back and toss one pitch on senior day. Once her high school career was over, the highly recruited pitcher made NC State her next destination.
Everyone just tells you, like, the advice is to pick a place that feels like home and a place you'll know you love, and Raleigh always just felt like that place. So that's how I ended up from Northern Virginia to Raleigh.
As a Wolfpack freshman in 2024, Fekel had a 3-0 record in 15 appearances with 22 strikeouts in 31 innings.
It's a big-time strikeout.
It was good. I mean, I obviously wish for a little bit more, but I feel like that's it's every freshman. But also, I was just so blessed for the opportunity to even play my freshman year. I feel like coming in, there's a lot of weight and nervousness to, like, perform or just, like, to prove yourself.
The goal heading into her second season, build on the first. But then came another medical setback in January 2025.
After practice was finished, we had conditioning and we were running sprints on the turf, and I remember I was feeling good. I was like, wow, I feel really great.
She was doing a conditioning drill, which she'd done a billion times.
So we were on the second set, and I remember I was trying to just, like, beat the people next to me, and I went to go touch the 20 with my foot, my left foot.
It was just kind of a freak accident where she did a plant and twist, and her cleat kind of got caught in the turf and resulted in her tearing her ACL and her medial meniscus.
I, like, heard it pop and I felt it, and this time it was really different because it hurt. Like, my first time it didn't hurt at all, and that kind of scared me, and I was really nervous because I knew what it was right away, but also, like, that moment is so special to me because I remember just, like, crying and screaming for Logan, and out of nowhere, I just feel someone, like, grab my hand. It was Coach Cass, and she just started praying over me.
I just slowly walked up to her, and I just remember kneeling down to her and trying to remind her that the Lord goes before us. And he goes with us and he goes behind us.
And that really meant a lot to me because I felt so weak and vulnerable, and there was just a lot of emotions racing through my mind. But to know that I had a coach who wanted what's best for me and just started praying over me meant the world to me. And then my whole teammates, like, all of them were circling around me and they were just praying over me. And it was a really special moment, even though it was a hard moment.
Maybe a 10-minute interim of, like, processing, and then she was fully composed, and I would say standing with her, and they took her, you know, to the ortho. Within an hour or two, she had already made up her mind, like, I can do this, I can do it again.
She probably gave herself 24 hours to be sad and upset, and after that, it kind of turned into determination.
Getting the surgery is more painful than actually tearing it itself for me. And I think that's what I was nervous for, because it hurt this time, so I was like, oh my goodness, it's gonna hurt that much worse after. But in the grand scheme, I just knew that Logan was gonna be with me to push me, but also to support me.
How lonely can rehab be?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely some challenging moments because you are away from the team. Like, even though I'm out there with them, I'm not doing the things that they're doing. And sometimes it's hard because I feel kind of distanced from the team, but not by anyone's doing. It's just like I physically can't do the running that they were doing because I wasn't cleared yet. And that can be challenging, but it's also rewarding because I'm able to, like, take a step back and, like, watch my teammates.
Here we go! Yeah, yeah, church, here we go.
Changing the perspective of, like, oh, I'm so lonely, like, this is so sad, like, no one's with me, like, to how can I cheer my teammates on? Like, how do I turn this into a situation that's not only good for me, but good for my teammates?
Bring it in, Old Dominion! We know that it takes hard work to be the best in the game. It starts up front with protection, making sure the freight arrives safe and damage-free. Then we work as a team, packing every shipment and running every route with precision. And we always manage the clock to be on time every time, so that every drive is a scoring drive. 1, 2, 3, OD!
Now that's the best in the game. No playoff needed. Old Dominion Freight Line, proud sponsor of college athletics.
I stand alone with fire inside, with passion burning in my veins.
All right, Mr. Wolf, you're all set. Complete perimeter protection installed and monitored 24/7.
No matter who you root for, we can all identify with the best in smart home security. CPI Security is the official security and smart home company of NC State Athletics. CPI Security. Identify yourself.
From protecting your teeth and gums, to restoring your smile, to sponsoring your local team, Tar Heel Periodontics is the premier periodontal practice of the Triangle community. Our team of highly skilled doctors provide dental care as individual as you are, working with you to build a personalized treatment plan to create the beautiful, healthy smile of your dreams. With offices conveniently located across the Triangle and Central North Carolina, you're never far from the Tar Heel Periodontics family. Visit our website or call now.
I stand alone with fire inside, with passion burning in my veins.
It's Truck Month with the Ford Crew. Final days.
Final day, Sam. People need to know time is running out for Truck Month deals.
Truck Month deals.
And America needs Ford F-Series with available Pro Power on board.
Oh, you guys are fast.
The final days of Truck Month.
And there's no time to waste.
Looks so good. You guys go ahead. I'll catch up.
Hurry, it's the final days to get 0 for 60 with 0 down, 0 payments for up to 90 days, plus 1,000 Truck Month cash on select Ford trucks.
The Biodex is not a fan favorite for people with torn ACLs or anyone coming back from a knee injury that has to do it. We use it as a tool to know when we're able to progress an athlete to different stages of rehab and how to safely progress them back into sport. Go. One. Come on, let's go. Two. Good job. All the way in, all the way in, all the way in. Good job.
It's just very mentally challenging, I would say, but also you try and play that game like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, like it's just a test, but also it's the test that lets you be able to move on to the next step. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is the test to conquer. Those experiences of not passing the Biodex when I wanted to forced me to be okay with the process. And that's the whole point of recovering from an injury, like having joy in the journey. And even though some days are harder than others, like it's all gonna pay off.
I would print out her Biodex reports and she has them all hung up in her room so she can kind of every day see that and know the goal that she's working towards.
At first, I never wanted to see him because I didn't like my numbers, so I never wanted to see again. And I was like, no, I need to switch my mindset. Like, this is a good thing. It's gonna push me, and I'm gonna defeat it. And I would hang all of them on my bathroom door. I would highlight my deficit and my strength. So if it was a deficit, I highlighted it in yellow. And then if it was a strength, like something I grew, and I highlighted it in green. And if it was a number that I really liked, like a PR, I highlighted it in orange. And I was just like visualizing myself being able to pass the test. I took my Biodex on December 1st, the first day of the month. And I passed. I was so excited. I started crying, tears of joy. Logan was crying, like we were just hugging, and it was just a really special moment.
Day by day, week by week, month by month, the incremental steps of rehab were made to the point that Kayla could suit up and practice again. Oh, did she appreciate that opportunity.
I think it started from the moment in the locker room when I was able to put the socks on and the pants and just my practice shirt, and it was like, wow, like this is really happening. And then like tying up my cleats, like wow, like every moment is just a moment of gratitude.
To get back on the mound and throw a full pitch in a real game and to be able to compete, I think there's freedom in it. I think it's a testament to, that's why you start doing it in the first place, right? As a little girl, it's because you just love it.
Have you allowed yourself to think what it will be like to pitch again?
I've thought about it 1,000 times. Like, I've imagined every single scenario, and I honestly thought, okay, I'm putting so much pressure in like what I want it to be like, that I don't need to have expectations or pressures.
So regardless of the success or failures to come, because there will be both for her, there's an influence of leadership that she would never have without this story.
I'm just grateful that I can go out there and play, because this time last year that wasn't a reality, and now it is. And I just think that goes to show like how much your life can change in a year. I'm just very thankful for the opportunity that I have. And I need to just be free. Like, I've been set free, I've grown, I've taken all these challenging times, and I'm a better person, I'm a stronger person. And I know that's gonna carry out with me on the field.
Well, there will be a new pitcher for NC State.
The final hurdle was cleared in the home opener on February 17th. Kayla Fekel returned to the circle for the first time since April 24th, 2024. 664 days, one batter, one out, one comeback complete.
That's a fly out for Fekel, who is making her first appearance since 2024 after missing last season due to injury. And she gets a big hug to celebrate the end of the frame.
There was never a day in my mind that I thought that I would hang up my cleats until like I was done graduating, like I had graduated. And so everyone's always like, oh, why don't you just like, you know, quit or just call it? And I'm like, no, it's never been a thought in my mind. Like, yeah, this is gonna be hard, and I know some days are really gonna not be fun, but also there's so much rewarding in the fact of like, you go through the hard days to have your good days. Like, if there were no hard days, there would be no good days.
I was so glad to see her get back in the circle and pitch. And if you watch the teammates, all of them had a smile on their face when she came back in. And so she's not only pitched in February, she's pitched some sporadically out of the bullpen. And Kayla's comeback is an inspiration whether you're an athlete or not. And I was just grateful to follow that story for 6 months and kind of bring it to life, because she's been through a lot, not once, but twice, and overcome it twice, and is still playing the sport that she loves.
Seems like a really, really sweet person.
Pulse of the Pack is sponsored in part by Carolina Ford Dealers. See your Carolina Ford dealer, proud sponsor of NC State Athletics.
I stand alone with fire inside, with passion burning in my veins.
It's Truck Month with the Ford Crew. Final days.
Final day, Sam. People need to know time is running out for Truck Month deals.
Truck month deals.
And America needs Ford F-Series with available Pro Power on board.
Oh, you guys are fast.
The final days of Truck Month.
And there's no time to waste.
Looks so good. You guys go ahead. I'll catch up.
Hurry, it's the final days to get 0 for 60 with 0 down, 0 payments for up to 90 days, plus 1,000 Truck Month cash on select Ford trucks.
From the moment you wake up, engineering is at work. At NC State, engineers turn bold ideas into breakthroughs. From smarter power grids and faster chips to life-changing technologies. As North Carolina's flagship engineering program, we lead through research, prepare the next generation, and partner with industry to deliver solutions that fuel the economy and power your day. Engineering the future. It all starts at NC State.
All right, Mr. Wolf, you're all set. Complete perimeter protection installed and monitored 24/7.
No matter who you root for, we can all identify with the best in smart home security. CPI Security is the official security and smart home company of NC State Athletics. CPI Security. Identify yourself.
From protecting your teeth and gums, to restoring your smile, to sponsoring your local team, Tar Heel Periodontics is the premier periodontal practice of the Triangle community. Our team of highly skilled doctors provide dental care as individual as you are, working with you to build a personalized treatment plan to create the beautiful, healthy smile of your dreams. With offices conveniently located across the Triangle and Central North Carolina, you're never far from the Tar Heel Periodontics family. Visit our website or call now.
I stand alone with fire inside, with passion burning in my veins.
Pulse of the Pack is sponsored in part by Coca-Cola. Fan work is thirsty work, so enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Then Alan Lubin set the record for field goal percentage at NC State, 66.7, beat Manny Bates, who was here a few years ago. And then Paul McNeil tied most threes in a season, 105, tied DJ Horn. Paul did his in 34 games. DJ Horn did his in 40. So that's 105 makes. But you did see a different Paul McNeil this year than you did a year ago. And that guy puts in some work. Whether it's after a game, whether there is a game or not, he's going to get the work in.
Klay Thompson used to do that.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. That's the lore of him on the West Coast.
So, you know, from a physical standpoint, there were issues with the team that led to some issues like rebounding. They weren't very good on ball defense, and they got used on that a couple times. Sometimes the switches got miscommunicated, even late in the season, and you got some very odd matchups. And so those things happen. But I think the other part of Coach Wade's post-game comments is kind of what he's looking for in a player. And he says, you know, I need somebody with some toughness, aggressiveness. He basically needs some dogs. And that goes back, and when he said that, it took me back to the day we did the interview with Will, the day he had his press conference. And I asked him, I said, you all have the physical tools that you're looking for in a basketball player. What are some of the intangibles that you look for when you're looking for a player? And he said, I want to know, has somebody been through some adversity? Because if you've been through some adversity, you have faced some challenges and you've overcome those. And so I immediately thought to that. And he said, that's a part of my process when I'm trying to figure out, do I want this guy or not? I asked him, what kind of adversity have you been through? Because I think people are better off having gone through struggles and gone to the other side of those struggles. So I think it is part of the physical makeup that he's looking for, but I think there's a mental makeup and a mentality that he's looking for in a player.
Yeah, it's hard. There are a lot of unknowns when you don't get time to vet.
Agree.
And how much time does anybody have to vet anybody?
But to your point, this year they have a heck of a lot longer than last year, because he hadn't even been introduced. He hadn't even been hired a month ago, or a year ago. This month, I think it was March 22nd when it was announced.
Wow!
And then his press conference was early April.
This is our last podcast / TV show.
Correct.
So I want to give a big thanks to our guy Roland on the air. Roland does an amazing job. It's patchworking together this slop from this guy and making it presentable on the telecast. And but he does a great job. He really does, and we appreciate him.
He's the man behind the curtain. Yep. He is our Oz. He makes things happen behind the curtain that we never see.
That's funny.
And then it comes to life.
Women play tomorrow.
Yes,
in Ann Arbor. They take on Tennessee.
Another rematch.
Just
like the men.
The Pack beat Tennessee November 4th, I believe was the
opening game. Yep.
By 3. So that's a rematch in the 7-10 game in Ann Arbor, Michigan for Wes Moore and the ladies.
Good luck. We also have several of our wrestlers competing in the NCAA championships in Cleveland, Ohio this weekend.
Is that Saturday, or
it's starting today?
Starting today.
Yeah, preliminary start today.
That's awesome.
Well, today. I say today. We're recording this on Thursday.
Thursday. And then baseball. Baseball is going to be at it as well. So a lot going on still.
Yep.
You know, and we'll podcast about that for a few more weeks.
Yes.
But we won't telecast about it
additionally.
That's correct.
This is our last on-camera podcast.
That's right.
of the year.
You can wear shorts to the office now.
And flip-flops. Okay. All right. No tank tops.
That's fine. I advocate. No, you don't need sleeves. You're fine.
No.
You're fine.
We don't need tank tops.
Pod 230. There it is in the books. Go Pack.